It has been quite the interesting year. Facebook is a bit slow, so yeah, here we go. Cool. Monday, but how they start on the right foot, right out of the bed, left side. Yeah, I've noticed that by 20, especially. I was gonna say normal, getting back to, but the importance of a morning routine is paramount to the way my day unfolds. Because there's so many distractions coming in from all different. You know, this things working this one. So that's every day. Ideas I had on the weekend around fear, practice, daily distraction, and morning routines. What I'm working on. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Anything on here? You can. Yeah. Can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. We're gonna go closer. How's that? Okay, I think we're good. So, a couple things. I lost my notes now. I left them upstairs. We're just gonna wing it this morning. So I got better internet now. So yeah, so I was talking about getting into a morning routine, how important that is. There's so much distraction going on in the world right now. I wouldn't say distraction, there's just so much stuff going on in the world right now that that it's difficult to stay focused, and your attention is going to easily distract you. And when your mind is scattered all over the place, first of all, you're not focusing on yourself. You're usually worrying or being distracted by all these crazy things. Makes you feel anxious. It lowers your immune system, increases stress. So for me, having a solid morning routine is really, really important. One thing I'm working on now is my HRV with Sachin. I don't know if he's still on here. Some techniques to increase HRV. Another thing that I'm really working on too is increasing my CO2 tolerance. It's your body's ability to handle carbon dioxide levels as they increase. People think CO2 is a waste gas. And most people, if they can't handle high levels of CO2, like they have less stress tolerance, their body doesn't efficiently use oxygen as much. So as simple as when I'm walking, I'm just holding my breath, counting steps, and then slowly recovering through my nose. I'm releasing a whole course on this, but playing with your carbon dioxide, so being comfortable as your CO2 levels increase is an amazing way to build resilience, increase your immune system, have a higher stress tolerance, so many other things. So we're working on that. Morning routine's been pretty solid. Waking up, meditating, going for a rollerblade or 20 minutes of exercise, and trying not to turn on the phone this whole time. I would say, okay, push-ups without any oxygen. I'd work your way up to working out intensely, where you can pass out and hit your face on something. The easiest way to start is by sitting on your couch, counting your breath, slowing down your exhale, feeling that air hunger. It's a carbon dioxide lifting up. When you feel like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore, you want to recover slowly, okay? And just build that up slowly over time. Your body will adapt, and you get your CO2 tolerance will increase over time. So yeah, so what else did I want to talk about today? So I had this sort of on the weekend I was thinking about, and I think I posted one of the group. What do you think would happen if tomorrow the entire world woke up and they had no fear of death? It's interesting, the response. And then after that, it went from no fear period. So let's say you're afraid of spiders, you're afraid of coronavirus, you're afraid of getting cancer. Let's just say you woke up the next day and you had no fear whatsoever. What do you think would happen? And most people's first response is the world will go crazy. People would jump off buildings, people would kill each other. And it's interesting because I think that's a good sort of sign of how we're sort of conditioned to think. Our first reaction is people are going to hurt each other. People are going to go crazy. People are going to slash out. And it's like, why do you think that? Is because you watch zombie movies, because of all the media shows you like bad. If you weren't afraid, you wouldn't be afraid of scarcity. You wouldn't be afraid of dying. You wouldn't be afraid of people coming to do things to you. You wouldn't really, I don't know where that urge to go and hurt people would come from. I think things would be amazing. I think if you no fear, automatically there would be peace. And people would just want to do things that they were passionate about, I think, and so if you feel the media is constantly pumping fear, so if there was less fear, what would that mean? Right. So now you have the choice to turn the media. You have the choice to how you sort of deal with your energies and how you interact with the public. And, right now it seems like the media is trying to divide us more than ever. There's racism is a thing, but what's going on in the States, especially some of these protests, it seems pretty outrageous. And, the media is only reporting on a certain agenda, and recently, and I don't know how true this is, but there's been a lot of accusations around Hollywood and like pedophilia, and a lot of these stars, their accounts have been like thousands of comments. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I think what is interesting is the lack of response from them. The lack of them saying things or trying to defend themselves or providing proof to the opposite. And this takes up a lot of energy and thought when you start seeing all this stuff coming out. And there's been some documentaries about it. So I think we're in for a really interesting summer for sure. I don't know what you guys believe in as far as what's going on right now. But I think the narrative we're being told is maybe, the tip of the iceberg. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a power play going around the world right now. We've been hearing all about these coronavirus infections going up like crazy. But if you really look at the death rate per 100,000, it's actually down a lot. And a lot of people are really afraid, and there's a lot of fear, like fear everywhere, fear of this, fear of that. And then the other hand, you have like, hey, everything go back to normal, because there are people dying, there are people getting sick too at the same time. So it's hard to really know what is the truth these days. But I thought that was interesting to think about, like if there was no fear tomorrow, how would you act? What would you do differently? How would you wake up and see the world? Would it be a scary place or not so scary? anything comes into your reality, to your perception, to your sort of environment, I want you to think about is this trying to instill fear in me? Is this trying to grab my energy? Is it trying to make me afraid? And then if you think that it is trying to, is this true? Do I know this is true? And can I sort of react in a different way? So what's also important is how you sort of direct your energy. So if you start worrying about scary things and thinking about fear, you start creating that environment inside your body, you start focusing on it, you start attracting it. So it's really, really important to be in control of your energy. That's why it's important also to start a morning routine. Don't go on Twitter, don't go on Instagram, don't go on all these things. I use it for entertainment. I try to go on a couple hours a day. So my new routine is airplane mode from 8 to 4, unless I'm doing a live or something like that. I'm going on airplane mode. So you got to get a hold of me before 8 in the morning or after 4 p.m. And I found it's super productive. So that's my new thing for the next little while. In August, I'm going to do a 10-day phone fast, no phone whatsoever. I want to challenge all of you guys on here. I'm going to use internet, email for work and stuff, but zero phone. I want to see what it feels like, what it felt like in the 80s to have no cell phone. After 8 p.m., again, phone, because I want to really focus on my sleep. I know that's really affects your mind. And I'm going to be doing a 10-day fast. It's been a while since I've done a fast. So this month's going to be about fasting August. We have our men's retreat on the August long weekend. After that, I'm just going to start fasting. Food fast, phone fast, meat fast. So I'm going to encourage you guys to pick a fast and join in, whether it's 1 day, 10-day, whatever you guys want to go for. Let's do that. And the other thing that's super important that I found through these men's groups specifically is having an accountability partner. So even just someone in the morning that you check in with to say, hey, I did my morning routine, and they check in to do you, it's like super, super important. So if you have someone, a friend, challenge them to do something with you. It doesn't have to be the same thing. They pick something that's challenging for them. You pick something that's challenging for you, and hold yourself accountable. Do it for a week. Do it for 2 weeks. But now's the time, I think, to double down on your own game and not worry about what the outside world is happening. So I think we're in a great time of great awakening. I think a lot of shit is coming to the light. A lot of shit is coming to the surface. It's going to be painful as we go through it. Just like many of our own awakenings were when we started seeing who we really were, when we got a good look in the mirror and said, wow, I'm not the person I thought I was. And, it's no reason to get upset. It's no reason to get depressed or beat yourself up. It's like, okay, I have more awareness now. And the whole world has more awareness. So, some of these crazy things we're hearing in the media and the internet and some of these things that are trending, are they true 100%? Maybe. Does it really matter? To some degree, but I think it's all going to come to the surface one way or the other. So I think, what's important is not arguing about it with people, not fighting. It's just trying to have constructive conversations, asking the right questions, and not jump into conclusions. Because some things, there's no way to know for certain if they're true. But I think the truth will come out in the end. There's a few more things I want to talk about, but since I left my list upstairs, I can't remember. You guys have any questions you guys want to talk about? There's one more interesting one that I wanted to talk about. It's not coming to mind right now, but I'll have to come through next Monday. So with that, guys, let's just set an intention. Maybe just close your eyes for a second and take a few deep breaths in through your nose. Just feel yourself settle and just set an intention for the day. What do you want to accomplish today? What would be the best day ever today if you could accomplish today exactly how you want it to be? Just want you to think about that for a moment. What does a great day today look like for you? Getting a lot of work done, seeing some people, smiling, feeling happy, not worrying. Okay? So let's set that intention. Worrying never affects the outcome, I promise you. And then I want you to think about, once you think about this day, is what the perfect year for 2020 to have a turnaround. Maybe it's already the best year ever. I guess it depends how you look at it. To be the best year of your life, what would need to happen? What would need to happen? How would you need to feel? Because when you say what would need to happen, think in terms of material. Think of, I need to have this money, I need to do this. But for 2020 to be the best year ever, how would you need to feel inside on a daily basis? And if you're not feeling that already, how can you shift into that? Think about that for a moment. How do you want to feel every day? Free, no fear, happy, fulfilled, content? What do you really need to feel that? Eric put a comment here. What if you knew when you would die, then you would have a different outlook for your remaining days. Well, that's a good point, Eric. But what I think most people need to sort of think about, what I think most people should think about, could think about, don't need to do anything, is to face their own mortality. Does COVID scare you because you're worried you're going to die? Well, let me tell you something. If you're 50 years old and you got another 50, 60 years to go, how fast do the first 50 go? We're not going to be here forever. How do you want to live the remaining days left? So you should live every day, not knowing you're going to die or afraid of dying. Because if you worry about dying, you're dying already. If you're living, we're going to live right to the end. We're just going to live every day and do the best that we can and enjoy ourselves and work towards what we want to be, but being in the moment of not trying to grasp too much. So I think that's also important as well. But it's a great point, Eric. Just knowing that we're not going to be here forever, and that's okay. And I believe something comes next after this life. And I think that's the mystery of not knowing. And that's what makes life so interesting and challenging, and the ability to learn. So no fear, guys, no fear. Speak your mind, stand up for yourself. Be respectful to others, treat others as you want to be respected. It's crazy times out there. What you believe in is important, to not sort of submit to authority on everything, but to be conscious in the way you're affecting others. And I don't want to get into the mask thing now, but I think we'll talk about next time, because there's some really interesting arguments on the side of it, on their effectiveness, on the symbolism, on authority, on boiling frogs in a pot. I don't know if you know that analogy. If you put the frog in a pot, it doesn't want to jump out if you slowly boil it. Some people think our rights are getting taken away. Some people think we need to protect our elders in the community. I think I'll just say one thing, that the science behind the mask is not very clear. Most of the masks say on the box that they don't do anything. But if they did, then I think we should be asking the questions. Is that okay? If these things work, everyone should feel comfortable going out in public. I think they're trying to make people feel comfortable. But if we wear a mask in public and you contract COVID, who's responsible? Is the government then responsible because they're saying this is a law now? So okay, I'm going to follow the law, but if someone gets it, now are they responsible because they're saying these are safe and it's going to protect us? I don't know. I don't want to stir up too many cans of worms on the face mask thing, but it's been an interesting conversation going on Facebook, going on in our business and everywhere. So maybe leave some comments what you think on the whole face mask thing on both sides. I'd love to hear from you guys. So have a beautiful day, guys. I hope your day turns out exactly as you envisioned it, and I hope the rest of your year transforms into the best year of your life. And remember, you're in control of that. Your thoughts, your mind, how you create your reality. So focus your intention and attention. I would like to know who's responsible for the dangers of the mask. Yeah, masks can be dangerous, but I'll tell you one thing. They don't block enough oxygen to have a serious health effect unless you have a health issue. If you have anxiety when you wear a mask, it's a different thing. If you're stressed, if it makes your stress levels go up, it's different. But from strictly an oxygen perspective, the same reason how it cannot block a virus, it's too small, it cannot restrict enough oxygen from coming in. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, increasing your carbon dioxide levels are actually will help to improve your immune system. Now, the moldiness of the mask and reusing a mask is not good. Mold, bacteria, all that stuff. But it's a whole different conversation, which we'll probably get to. I'll have a conversation on a live with some pro-mask and anti-maskers. There's new names and terminology for this. Steve, thanks for asking. I'm feeling great today. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Monday. We'll see you guys next Monday. If there's anything you guys want to chat about, leave a message about it, and we can touch base on that. Until then, love you guys. Stay positive and smile and be the change you want to see. Let that energy be contagious and, help people to not feel scared. Okay. Peace.